Morning students. Today we are going to discuss about hormones. Let us see what is meant by what are hormones. Actually, hormone is a class of signaling molecules produced by glands in multicellular organisms that are transported by the circulatory system to the target distant organs to regulate physiology or behavior. Actually, hormones are produced by highly specialized tissues called as endocrine glands or ductless glands. These endocrine glands or ductless glands carry the blood to the remote tissue, that is the target organ. Now, let us discuss about the classification of hormones. On the basis of proteinaceous natural hormones, it can be classified under two groups. Number one, proteinaceous hormones. It can be also called as peptide hormones. Number two, non-proteinaceous hormones. These can be called as steroid hormones. Proteinaceous hormones. In other words, these can be called as peptide hormones. Peptide hormones are proteins that have an effect on the endocrine system of animals. Like other proteins, the peptide hormones are synthesized in cells from amino acids according to mRNA transcripts. Several important peptide hormones are secreted from the pituitary gland. The anterior pituitary gland secretes three different types of hormones. That is prolactin, which acts on the mammary gland. Then the second one is adrenocorticotropic hormone, which acts on the adrenal cortex to regulate the secretion of glucocorticoids. And finally, the growth hormone, which acts on bone, muscle, and the liver. The posterior pituitary gland secretes antidiuretic hormone. It can be also called as vasopressin or oxytocin. The peptide hormones are produced by many different organs and tissues like pancreas, the GI tract. In the pancreas, it secretes glucagon, insulin, and somatostatin. Let us discuss what are the main peptide hormones. The main peptide hormones are insulin, glucagon, adrenocorticotropic hormone, antidiuretic hormone, oxytocin, and prolactin. Insulin. What is the function of insulin? Actually, it regulates the metabolism of carbohydrates and fats by promoting the absorption of glucose from the blood to the skeletal muscles and fat tissue by causing fat to be stored rather than used for energy. What happens when there is deficiency in this insulin? The deficiency of insulin leads to diabetes mellitus, in which the blood sugar condition is high. What happens when insulin is secreted in excess? Excess of insulin leads to hyperinsulinemia, which may lead to hypoglycemia. What is the treatment actually to be taken? The treatment for type 1 diabetes involves taking insulin. Hyperinsulinemia can be treated through the diet. Glucagon. Actually, the function of glucagon is antagonist to that of the insulin. What is its function? Let us see. Glucagon raises the concentration of glucose in the bloodstream. It causes the liver to convert the stored glycogen into glucose, which is released into the bloodstream. What is the deficiency caused by glucagon? It leads to hypoglycemia. When excess of glucose is secreted, What happens when excess of glucagon is secreted? It leads to diabetes mellitus. So let us discuss about the treatment finally. Treatment of type 1 diabetes involves taking insulin. Hypoglycemia can be treated through diet. Adrenocorticotropic hormone or ACTH. Its function. It acts on the adrenal cortex of the kidney to regulate the secretion of glucocorticoids. The deficiency of ACTH leads to ACTH deficiency. The excess of ACTH leads to Cushing's syndrome. Treatment. Cushing's syndrome treatment depends on the specific reason for cortisol excess and may include surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, or the use of cortisol inhibiting drugs. While ACTH deficiency is treated with hydrocortisone supplement. ADH, antidiuretic hormone, its function. Its two primary functions are to retain water in the body and to constrict the blood vessels. ADH regulates the body's retention of water by acting to increase water reabsorption in the collecting ducts of the kidney nephron. Deficiency of antidiuretic hormone leads to a syndrome that is called as diabetes insipidus. When there is excess level, it leads to the retention of water in the kidneys. Treatment. It can be treated with drugs while diabetes insipidus is treated with fluid replacement and drugs. Oxytocin. The two main actions of oxytocin in the body are the contraction of the womb during the childbirth and the next function is lactation. Deficiency. A lack of oxytocin in the nursing mother would prevent the milk ejection reflex and prevent breastfeeding. When there is excess of oxytocin, it has been linked to benign prostatic hyperplasia, a condition which affects the prostate in more than half of men over the age of 50. This may cause difficulty in passing urine. Treatment. These diseases are treated by manipulating oxytocin levels. However, more research is needed before any possible treatments are available. Prolactin. Its function is to promote milk production in mammals in response to the suckling of young after birth. Deficiency of prolactin. The condition where there is little prolactin in the blood. This condition is known as hypoprolactinemia. The condition is very rare and occurs in people with pituitary underactivity. When there is excess secretion of prolactin, it is circulated in the blood and it is called as hyperprolactinemia. Treatment. For both the diseases are treated with proper medication. These are the references. Thank you for watching.